Hello everyone, this is Gary Bennett. Welcome to Class 2, Getting Started Using Swift. Today we're going to be discussing Chapter 1 and 2 in my book. This is the second part of the kind of really the first chapter or two. And what we're going to be using is both Xcode's playgrounds to start off with our first Swift playground and Swift application, and then also using the free IBM Sandbox. If you don't have a Mac and can't run Xcode, you can do it on the on IBM Sandbox. So let's get started using Xcode and do a little Swift playground application. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and open up Xcode, and when you open up Xcode, we can say get started with a playground. Real easy, call it my playground. I'm going to put iOS here. You could use iOS or any one of these playgrounds here, but let's use iOS to get started. Not going to really matter for what we're going to do. We'll create it on our desktop and we're off. Okay, so what we have here is sort of the playground and Xcode IDE. The IDE stands for Interactive Development Environment. It is a very much simplified development environment for writing our playground applications. We'll get into more in-depth Xcode usage as we go through the chapters in the book. But right now we're just more interested in learning the Swift language and Swift syntax so we can write our iOS and Mac and Apple TV applications. So let's get started. So when we first start up the application, our playground, as we write our code on the left side, on the right hand side, the results going to appear in real time. Well, near real time. Sometimes it takes it a second or two to populate over here. So we get this standard code when we create a playground template, and here we are importing the UI kit. And there's UI kit and app kit. UI kit is for iOS development. So if you chose Mac or Apple TV, you're going to get a different kit here. But for iOS, it is UI kit. And what we have is, first thing we have is a variable called str. str holds the contents of a string. A string is one or more characters bound by double quotes. So you can see it's hello world. So now str contains the word, I should say the variable str contains the string hello playground, which the result of it is printed out here. Now we could also, if we type enter here and type in print, we could say print str. And oops, it auto-completed there for me when I wasn't paying attention. There we go. And give it a second here, or try to hit play here and let it run, and it will go ahead and populate. And it puts the \n on it, indicating that that's a new line. That's the end of the string. Now, there are two types of variables in Swift. There are a var type, which this is. Var type means that we can change the contents of our variable after any time. So I could say str is equal to excelme.com. Oops. And I could say print excelme. I'm sorry, print str. If you ever see this little red thing that you just saw here, that means it's a compiler error. So it's not quite, it doesn't recognize what this variable is, because I fat fingered it as I was typing and thinking at the same time, and that's always a scary thing. So here we have our variable changing, and the contents of the variable changing, and now it's equal to excelme instead of playground. Hello playground. So the other type is called a let, and it is not mutable. Now I can't make the same string name variable because it's already declared. new excelme.com variable. So it's going to give us a compiler error saying that this guy's already redeclared. Is already declared. So you're trying to redeclare it, it won't work. So I could call this string 2. And now what I can go ahead and print it just like I normally do. str2. Golly, one of those days. And then if I try to change it later, it won't let me. And it's telling us right here, hey, you're trying to change a variable that's declared as a constant. It is not mutable. So mutable means it's a var and it can be changed. Non-mutable means it was declared as a let, and lets cannot change. And you see that right now it's saying, hey, I'm going to change this to a var if you want me to. And if I change it was a let when I first declared it. And there we go. There it is. Okay, so that's kind of you can see the changes over here on this side here that are as I'm doing it in real time. Let's go over into IBM Sandbox here and let's do the same thing. So this is from the class last time that we have, I don't want to say no thanks here. I want to do the same thing that we just did. I'm going to bring up Xcode, put it over here on my other screen. And for the sake of time, I'm just going to copy and paste it here. Now, before I do it, in order to execute, it doesn't execute automatically after we enter a line. We have to hit the play button here, or execute button. And then we get the results on this side, which you just saw here. So I'm going to paste the Swift code from Xcode that we just did over to our Sandbox. And you can see, there it is. There's the code. And we can go and do things like let x equal to 5, x is equal to x plus 1, and play that. And we can see we have a compiler error. What is my error? Oh, ha. It's saying, hey, you're trying to change it. Sorry. Var, let's change it back to a mutable variable that we can change. And now everything should work. Oh, I got to print it. That's the one thing, you got to print your variable results here. So we'll say print x. There it is, 6. X was 5. I incremented or added 1 to it, and it prints out there. Now, one thing with Swift is that it knows the type of contents for that variable when it's declared. So it knows this is a string. For str is a string type of string, and it also knows that x, when it was assigned here, is an integer. Now you can declare this here by doing this just to make it clear to the developers and to yourself that what those types are. There we go. But it knows that when you assign it, it knows the type. It is implied. If you want to explicitly declare it, you can do this right here and make it obvious for everybody. So